Joining us now on the show is writer and pro-democracy activist Farida Nabourema. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Very glad to have you here. So I recently watched your TED Talk about your effort to bring democracy to your home country, and the sort of organizing theme of it has to do with being able to identify the possibility that your country could descend into dictatorship. For those who might not have seen the TED Talk, can you explain some of those characteristics of dictatorships that you've seen in your work?
Yes, we have a few characteristics that are quite similar across the line when you talk about dictatorship. First of all, we have concentration of power, and by that I mean that an individual or a small group of people that are wrapped around an individual, usually the dictator, holds all the power, and all the institutions in the country respond to their order. And by that, there is a full suppression of check and balances, and the state institutions such as the judiciary and the legislative branch are all under the control of the dictator. The second point that I would like to note is what we call generally military oppression, because for the dictators to be able to oppress their citizens, they need a coercive force, and the military usually plays that role. And without the help of the military, it is usually hard for them to coerce the citizens and force their subjugation. Beyond that, you still have a few characteristics that are similar across the line when you are looking into dictatorships.
So I'm curious, you have these characteristics. As you're traveling around, and apparently because of threats against your life, you have to travel quite frequently, never able to stay in one location for very long. Do you see in any Western democracies signs that they might be moving in this direction?
Yes, they actually are. The rise of populism and the fact that people are mobilizing citizens around their political agenda, and these agendas being wrapped around issues that are not really objective, issues that have to do with race, issues that have to do with religion, issues that have to do with different orientations. It is a very worrisome situation, because at the end of the day, you still have a situation where politicians are empowered to dominate others. And we are seeing many Western countries moving toward that populism. But once they succeed at also suppressing state institutions and by weakening them, then they will have the free way to be able to force their will onto the general public.
In your TED Talk, you mentioned that sometimes, or quite frequently perhaps, when the media covers the work of activists like yourself, when they cover life under dictatorships, sometimes, perhaps in an attempt to be helpful, they actually sort of set back the work of the activists or focus on parts of the story of living under a dictatorship that are actually counterproductive, that are damaging to the movement. Can you provide? I guess I'm in media, and I always want to do a better job. Do you have advice for how people in the media should talk about these movements and these countries?
Yes, definitely. When it comes to covering the actions of citizens that are fighting against oppressive systems, I always highlight that it is important to put the focus on the work of the citizens, on their bravery, on their actions, and the work they are doing under pressure and the risk they are taking despite all the difficulties that come with being an activist under dictatorships. Unfortunately, what often happens is that the media is more interested in sensitive news, such as covering issues that have to do with political abuse, beatings, killings, tortures, arbitrary arrests and detention. So at the end of the day, the focus is more on the repression of the dictator, and they use that to advertise the cruelty of the dictatorship. Rather, the focus should be on the actions of the citizens. So even though you want to highlight human rights abuses as journalists, which is a very good thing, you also have to be able to show the bravery and the courage of these activists, and that is the only way you can inspire other people to rally to their causes. Because when the whole focus is placed on the consequences of their activism and the abuse they are receiving from the oppressors, unfortunately, it serves more the purpose of the oppressor because it gives them the ability to show how dangerous they are, and this actually deters more people from wanting to rally for the cause and join the movement.
Thank you very much for watching this clip from the Damage Report. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell on YouTube to get notifications of our new videos. And of course, you can catch the full Damage Report live every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on TYT Network on YouTube TV.